Hello chess lovers, Suren here, and in this video I want to share with you another hyper-aggressive attacking game played by the legend Mikhail Tal. In this game Tal's opponent is German chess master Rudolf Teschner. The game was played in 1957 in Vienna. In this game the future world chess champion had white pieces and he opened up with e4, to which Teschner answered with e5. Knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5. Rui Lopez is on the board. a6, Morphy defense, bishop a4. In here, Steinitz defense starts with d6, but we see d6 only after knight f6, castling kingside. And this line is known as Steinitz deferred. So already when white castled, black decided to choose this line, because in this case white can no longer castle queenside, something which can create some problems for black. But the downside of this line, when black has a knight on f6, black can no longer strengthen his center with f6, something which black usually does when white goes for c3, d4. So in here Tal played c3, he's preparing to establish a classical pawn center, bishop e7, d4, b5, bishop b3. On this diagonal the bishop can play a very nice attacking role. Bishop g4. In here, according to modern theory, the most popular move is considered to be castling kingside, but soon we will see that black will neglect castling, thus creating problems for himself. In the game we see bishop g4, h3, bishop takes f3, queen takes f3, e takes d4. Black decided to accept the pawn sacrifice, but still he's leaving the king in the center, and all this can be very dangerous. Queen g3, hitting on g7, and g6. Well, probably this was the last chance for black to castle, but in the game we see g6, which is weakening the dark squares too much. Here comes bishop d5, queen d7, and another bishop move, bishop h6, taking under control this diagonal, not allowing black to castle. In some cases, white can even make a move like bishop g7, a threat which will be in the air throughout the game. Rook b8 by Teschner, and by the way, d takes c3 is not good because of this queen takes c3. That's why black hurried with unpinning his queenside knight, and there comes f4. Black king is stuck in the center of the board, and all white wants is to open up the center. Knight d8, a very passive approach by black, and after this move, black is starting to face serious problems. A move like knight a5 looks more active. And then, for example, knight takes d5 followed by knight c4. But instead we see this passive-looking knight d8 move. Knight d2 by Tal, c6, bishop b3, d takes c3, queen takes c3, queen a7 check, king h1, queen c5. With this last maneuver, black offered the exchange of queens. But of course white rejected because white has a dangerous attack and is a pawn down. Instead we see queen d3, and now white wants to go for e5 in order to open up the position. Teschner played knight d7, but anyways e5 appeared on the board. f5 is an alternative. d5, black wants to keep the position as closed as possible, and by the way, if move like d takes e5, then f takes e5, if knight takes e5, then queen g3, and then I don't know, the rook can join the attack, and all this looks very scary. In the game to e5, black answered with d5, and there comes f5, although I have to tell you that at this point first cornering black queen and then going for f5 is stronger. And the problem with the immediate f5 is that by winning this central pawn on e5, black could prolong his resistance. And then f6, if bishop g7, then instead of rook g8, in this case white has a very strong knight e4 move, black can play knight df7. Winning the rook can allow black to solidify his position. That's why it's better to go for f takes g6 and then rook takes f6. Still, white has a dangerous attack, but I have to mention once again that this is a better continuation than the one which we see in our game. In our game to f5, black answered with g takes f5, queen takes f5, and now e6 can be a nice threat. That's why black played knight f8 in order to meet e6 with knight takes e6, but Tal found a stronger continuation, and as we have reached the critical position, you can pause the video and try to find his next move. Well, Tal actually needs another piece which can allow him to put further pressure. That's why he played knight e4, attacking black queen and bringing this knight into the game. D takes e4, black accepted the piece sacrifice. Well, if queen b6, for example, then simply knight d6 check, and then he takes d6. The file is open and black king is in trouble. If knight e6, then queen f6, with a double threat. In the game to knight e4, black answered with d takes e4 and rook a d1. White is taking under control the d file and is threatening bishop takes f7, although I prefer a queen sacrifice, which also leads to a checkmate, right? Black played f6, but weakened this diagonal and we have queen h5 check. Knight g6 and another heavy blow by Tal. Can you find his next move? Ready? This time we have e takes f6. A brilliant queen sacrifice, right guys? If you accept the queen sacrifice, then f7 check is coming, followed by bishop takes f7 checkmate. That's why to e takes f6 black answered with rook f8, but resigned after rook f5. Yes, once white is kicking away black queen from the fifth rank, can already capture on e7, and it's over, you know. It's difficult to find a good continuation for black. The engine shows forced mate in 6. For example, if rook takes f5, then of course even e takes d8, queen is also winning, but you can first capture on f5 and only then think about a checkmate. For example, if we move like king takes e7, then we have too many mating moves, you know. Queen takes e4, bishop g5, rook d7, queen d7, all those moves are allowing to announce mate in 3, and then bishop f7, and then queen takes f7 checkmate. That's why, as I have already mentioned, after this quiet rook f5 move, Teschner capitulated. Another very instructive game by Mikhail Tal. Once again his opponent overlooked castling in time and found himself in trouble. The rest was a matter of technique for the magician from Riga. Hope that you enjoyed this brilliant game, and in the end, let's also solve a chess puzzle. Please take a look at this position and try to find the winning line for white. It's white to move, and as usual, we'll wait for your answer in the comment section. Feel free to check out my early uploads as well. We'll see you in my next video. Take care.